Yeah. I did. So this is on and yours is on.
Yep, we're ready to go.
What did you think of the race today?
Oh, what, the F1?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hell of a race. I don't know if you follow F1 at all, Tomato. I assume.
I do not.
No. There's a few F1 fans dotted around.
Yeah.
It's not so popular in America, so
Yeah, but it's getting more and more popular, I guess. With what
yeah.
all the Netflix and stuff.
Yeah, Netflix has really boosted the popularity quite a lot.
Alright, anyway, so welcome to 4 of the week with one added joker for 5 of the week. We're also live on twitch.tv/simbasketball. Obviously, if you're listening to this in the future, that's gonna... Well, unless you want to go see Danger rubbing his eyes and Tomato drinking a little bit of water.
Exactly what you want to see.
In a past broadcast, then do go ahead, hop on over there and follow Sim Basketball for more content in the future.
Also, you should tune in because you can see Tomato's dog.
Yeah,
Is that a dog or a cat?
It's a dog. It's a dog cam. Yeah, buddy. He's the sleepy one.
He's very asleep.
All right, so since Tomato's been on before and we actually talked extensively about his currently sole player, we're gonna do a little bit of a different approach to what we might have done with someone who's never talked to us or anyone here in public. So we're just gonna be a little more in detail and have a little bit more fun questions instead of how did you end up joining the SBA, since we kind of sort of know the stories so far. And so, yeah, what I first had in mind, since, well, let's just go over it for anyone who's not listened to the previous episode you were on or doesn't know anything about who you are. So, well, I guess introductions are in order anyways. Yeah, my name is Okocha Star, and the other co-host here. I was pointing at the stream, but obviously the stream is not going to be on the recording, so I did that dumb shit again. But yeah, it's Danger Golding. Hello.
Hello, I'm
Yes.
Danger Golding. I'm still the head of media and still hold various point records.
Sweet. And today's
Although since last week, I'm now number 2 in all-time points.
Yeah,
So
lost one record. Yeah.
yeah, so that's no good.
Mm.
No, not lost the record. I mean, an all-time
yeah,
career point.
Yeah.
I overtook Parahexis or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's
My
good
bad.
news.
And yeah, this week's guest will be Tomato once again. Hello.
Hello. I'm Tomato. Tomato. Whatever you want.
Potato.
It's actually Tomat Zero.
Yeah, it's Tomat Zero.
Technically.
It's the only acceptable pronunciation. Please don't miscall me ever again.
Is a tomato in Polish just something similar to tomato, or does it have its own word?
It's nothing. It's pomidor.
Pomodoro.
So it's completely different.
Yeah, but isn't that's from somewhere else, like Pomodoro? That seems so familiar.
It's pomidor.
But
it's probably like.
Yeah, maybe in some different Slavic languages it's sort of similar to that, and that's where. Yeah, but whatever. In Finnish it's just tomati, which is quite alright. It's similar, but not all together too similar. Yeah, but it's already off track. We're gonna go ahead.
Go for the question. Go for the question one.
Yeah. Since we last talked, we talked about your player. You can give a little brief description about who your player is in the SBA currently. Now we're in season 57.
Well, my current player is Diego Mercer. He's the disappointing rookie of the year from way back when in season 48, who's now back home in Washington on his retirement tour.
Yeah.
But he is the I think at least from the active players, the current record holder for most All-Star Game MVPs. So
How many is that then? Is it 3?
I have 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone active has more than me.
Yeah.
Coming for who's I think Alex Calderon was the last person who managed to just kept winning All-Star MVPs. Calderon had a good run.
The key is being
now.
bad enough so you don't start.
Yeah, I don't think Mercer is going to add on to that record anymore.
No, probably not. I'd
Yeah,
be surprised to
unfortunately.
see Mercer in the All-Star game this season.
What do you mean? He's still kicking,
He's still kicking.
The hot 900 APE, my man.
Yeah, he's still doing good. He's becoming a sort of all-round player now, rebounds and boards and stuff.
A very polite
He's just,
way of putting it.
After Bereby's been shouting at him.
He just went back to his season 1 SBDL form, shooting threes and passing to Beremy.
So
we've been winning some games. It's been all right. Go for the question. Oko's got prepared a question, so let's go get that out.
Yeah,
first.
so I'll have the SBA questions, and Danger is gonna have his oddly creepy what's it called, like something of a BuzzFeed article kind of questions. That's the way they seemed, at least. But we'll kick off with the SBA question number 1, which is there one single thing or a tangible happening during your player's career that you'd consider the best? So what's the single best thing that's happened during your career, in your opinion? What do you look upon most fondly?
I think the first time I made the playoffs with the Wild, when we still had that team that we assembled after the expansion draft. That was, oh man, I never remember the seasons, but it was like my year 5, I think, and we still had
51.
Yeah,
I think,
or 52.
maybe.
No, 53, I think. I don't know. Well, we still had Gervin, we had Maddie, it was Judas, obviously, and Mercer, and it was a really fun team. And it was like a long time coming because we've been sticking around with Washington.
52.
Like
52, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh yeah, Krishna was there too, and he was still active. I remember that. Where did you go, Hoop? Like we lost decisively to the Rampage in the first round. Like it was still a great experience to me because like I spent 4 seasons bumming around in the SBA, and it was just like a great feeling to finally make it to the playoffs. It was great, and it just kind of went downhill from there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that was around the time was it you who said that you found out that your 3-point percentage was going down each season.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that was so bad. If you pull up Mercer's career shooting. Yeah, it was the first few seasons. Like I think the first 3 seasons I was like hot as fuck, like shooting 40% easily. And then it just kind of fell off a train hard. Like I still have no idea what happened. I think like I updated my 3-point shooting from 85 to 90 over the off season. And it just fucking died. Like
yeah, it's it's a roller coaster of emotions here.
Yeah, it really is.
Started off at almost 45, went up to 47, and then went down,
and then just died.
Yeah, just died from there. Something happened in Mercer's 4th season where he forgot how to shoot.
Yeah, he got the yeeps, like faults. I don't know.
Got the fault says yeeps.
I went and took a look, at least according to the sim, all the stats were all correct. But I think back then when we first talked about it, when I heard, I thought, wow, this is like such a huge discrepancy from 5 shots a game at 41% to then 2 seasons with around 3 shots a game, averaging like 34%. And the only time I've had seen a drop off in percentage and typical like profile like that was one time where I had a player's 3-point usage at was it 8 instead of 85 for an entire season. I'm not gonna say who it was.
Oh,
It wasn't Diego Mercer because that's how I remembered it had happened before. But yeah, one time I remember seeing something like that was when that happened. And then I went and took a look then, and I was surprised to see actually that I hadn't messed it up because that was just plain weird how big of a drop it was. But now
Yeah.
your career numbers are back above 40%, which is quite alright, but surely back then it must have felt like shit.
Yeah, it was just like I didn't even know what to think, because like
you
if the shots went up and the percentages went down, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get that. But like I started shooting less and way worse, and I just didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah, your
It's like
shots kind of you stopped shooting outside shots. You went from 4.8 a game to 3.2.
Yeah.
And
I think it might have been like probably a bit of game planning because I think around then was when 11 left and Judas took over, and I think he had a bit of a different philosophy. So I think we shot less threes as a team from that season onwards. But yeah, didn't feel good. That's for sure.
Yeah, and
but like
yeah,
I feel like Diego Mercer has had a career quite similar to Lefty's player, to Adrian Brown.
Yes,
I
that's
feel like
the curse.
there's a sort of similarity between.
It's the
something
curse
about
of
being
the Portsmouth forwards. Don't ever make an SF if you're in the Hydra. Like it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, it worked for me.
Well, did it? Like, if you're gonna lose all your scoring records, still, did it actually work or not?
Yeah. Well, it's fine.
Well, I guess nothing's made to stand forever, basically. So.
Yeah, especially when people have started scoring 50 per game in the in the SBDL now.
Yeah.
Well, not like they went into the SBA though.
Yeah, I think 86 is still like pretty closely guarded. I think that's a sort of a rare occurrence if I've ever seen any, because even 70 points has happened like 5 to 6 times since I've been reading, I think. Maybe a little bit more than that, because guys like Prezi had 70 and DB had 70 like 2 times. But yeah, it's still generally quite rare. So 86 is just pushing it to an even.
Yeah, Kai. Since S49, which is where 50. Wait, when did I get 77?
Yeah,
I don't
just a
remember
random game, whatever. I remember it, but
but yeah, since then there's been in the S50s there's only been I think that's 2
4.
70 set 2 70-point games
4.
since.
It says 4.
It's kind of
There's KG with 77 in S50. There's a 71 by Alexander Marcus in 71. There's another Beremy game. And there's a
Yeah, so it'd be 5.
It feels kind of weird not seeing Cooper anywhere up there.
Yeah, Cooper's never managed to. I don't know what Cooper's highest is, but it's never been that high, really.
I think it's 58. I think. I'm gonna go take.
Oh, I'm searching Cooper, but it's not even in the top 50.
No, but he's been. That's what's made him a lot different, in my opinion. Oh no, it's 68 actually.
Have I overtaken McAdoo in the top 50s? He's got 14.
Jeez, that's a lot.
I'm on 13. I'm on 13.
Yeah, well, besides that, I think about the 3-point percentage, just the final point on that part was that looks like you started playing more power forward after playing your 2 first season as small forward.
That's true. Yeah,
And then
I got
when you get more and more inside attempts, I think if you're the only good scorer on your team, at least at the time you weren't with Gervin, but it's likely that the shots
But hey,
you happen
you're
to take would be worse if the team game plan, like you said, would be different and whatever.
you're finally back to basically exactly where you started though. This season
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
back up to 44%. So
Let's see if
maybe the
I can
more
keep it up.
maybe you should have stayed at 900 TP your entire career.
Oh god.
Is this going to be Mercer's final season, or are you going to see him
Yes.
kicking
This
around
is
one more?
Mercer's final season. My RC is kicking ass back in Hydra already, so I'm gonna be back
Yes,
this season.
I've
Yeah.
got you on my free time, my 3x3, or whatever it's called now, big free, whatever
Big
the
three, yeah.
predictions is. Got you in my big free.
Wouldn't happen to be a forward, would it?
It's a center. It's a freak center
yeah,
even.
Lundell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, that's because you were saying earlier that you shouldn't make a free forward and play for the Hydra. It'd be
Yeah,
very
never again.
ironic if you do that right after again.
Leon Lundell, who's currently doing very nicely across the board.
Yeah, a way different approach.
Well, look at that true shooting percentage.
Yeah,
695.
aiming for 700. Wonder if I can make it.
Almost there. The Jaws mark, I think, which we can probably call it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the goal, really. I'm trying to well, obviously going freak center. You have the two, I guess, most famous ones recently being McMahon and Jaws, but I'm going more of a Jaws direction with a bit of a Serrano twist with the passing, and we'll see how it goes.
So, do we have a second SBA question, or we're going to alternate between some real life questions?
Well, that's
So,
up to you.
yeah.
think.
So we've got the first real life question. Where is it? I've got it on my message Doko with it. So, Tomato, what random little thing that would make your entire day when it happens? Something that's doesn't happen very often, but when it does, gets you off on the right foot, makes a nice day.
You see that guy there?
Yeah.
I adopted him 2 years ago. He was an extremely scared dog. He didn't even let me touch him and all that. And nowadays, sometimes he just in the mornings comes up to me and hugs me, and it's like the best thing ever. Like I know it's gonna be a good day. He just comes up next to me, lays next to me, and it's just blessed. I love the guy.
Is he a rescue?
Yeah. He's a rescue from the shelter. He was he's 8 years old now. I took him in when he was 6. He spent 2 years at the shelter, and the 4 years before that, he was I guess like a wild dog running around in a village somewhere. He was shot at because he has bullets in his body, like
good.
5, I think, and he has a sick paw. Like his right leg is kind of bummy. We've been working to fix that, and I think it's kind of better nowadays because he's more energetic and running around. He's the best. His name is Buddy.
Oh, that's a good name for a dog.
Yeah.
Oh. No, not at your story. I was just looking at my audio bar, and when I unmuted my microphone, it kicked up. Yeah, but that's a cool thing about rescue dogs is that rather than being like adopting a puppy from a kennel, then you actually like it seems like a more real relationship when you're just not grooming something from the beginning, so that they're always like if you have a dog from its birth to its death, and it's always been dependent on you through his life. At least adopting maybe an adult dog or actually a grown dog, then you have a different beginning to the relationship where you kind of get to know each other instead of like you being its mommy kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like it's a whole journey, you know. Because like especially if it's like dog like this that's never really known a human home. It just feels like a friendship, you know, like something you've earned.
He looks pretty comfy right now. So.
Yeah, like day one, he got up on my bed and he just said, "This is my bed now." So you know, he just loans it to me at night when I want to go to sleep.
Had to get
my
another bed.
my parents' dog was a rescue. So they've had 2 dogs now, but the rescue they've got at the moment was like super young, and some people we found out that some people got him, had him for like 6 months, and then gave him to a rescue shelter. And somebody
Oh man,
adopted him from the rescue shelter and had him at home for 10 days before giving him back to the rescue center.
Oof.
complaining that he was too nervous or whatever. And
Oh
so
my
my
God.
parents adopted him, and yeah, he was like super nervous to begin with, and it took him like a good few months, but now he's like the happiest, cuddliest dog. I just don't get people that like would
No,
get a rescue dog,
it's horrible, man. Like,
literally still a puppy, and they were like, no,
yeah.
he's too nervous, we can't be bothered.
It's mind blowing. Like I volunteer at my local shelter, and like the people we get sometimes, like it's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, that don't see them as like thinking animals that have a mind of their own. They think they're just going to be like robots.
Yeah, disposable things more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's make sure we don't have an hour and a half podcast. We got SBA question number 2.
Well, you also have to make sure it's sort of at least catering to anyone's TP needs as well. So, regardless, yeah. So SBA question number 3 is now that we've mentioned your up and coming player, what sort of career goals have you set? Like, do you have some concrete goals that you've set? Which sort of a team would you like to begin your career on, and how would you approach different general managers and working with them, rather than just sort of Judas and Sixers and
And Flex.
Rush? Yeah.
Yeah.
Flex. Well, Rail,
Mhm.
not Rush. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess my experience with Mercer was a bit ring chasing. I mean, it's pretty safe to say. Like, I went to Seattle and Sixers came there, trying to like build a super team from scratch. Then I went to the defending champion, and this time around, I really don't care about winning a ring anymore. I want to like win an award. That would be nice because I never got to do that with Mercer. Like the best I won was second team. So my goal, like personal goal, is just winning at least one award, which I think is like doable. I know what I'm doing now. I'll have a shit ton of TP as I did last time, but like I'll actually know what to spend it on this time. And just like for my career, I just want to have fun, man. Like go somewhere with fun people where I can nerd out about games and just enjoy playing some fun basketball. So like I'm hoping I go somewhere rebuilding. I like rebuilds, like building from the ground up, and hopefully it works out this time.
So you hear that, town? Don't draft Tomato. He doesn't want to go. He wants to rebuild.
It's weird how you earlier used the phrase something like I was bumming around the SBA for 4 seasons and then we made the playoffs. And now
Yeah,
you'd still be fine going to a rebuilding situation and possibly bumming around for another 4 or 5 or even your
you know what the
entire
thing
career.
is? Like if you're rebuilding and you bum around for like 3-4 seasons, but then it just kind of clicks into place and you guys are working for a few seasons and it's fun. That's just awesome. Like that one season we made the playoffs, it just felt like sky was the limit and it was great. The reason why I ended up just like looking back at it so negatively was because the team fucking fell apart. Like the GM went, Gervin left, Maddie left, Krishna went IA, and it was just kind of like me and Judas.
Yeah, every so often you do see these SBA teams like will just fall apart at the drop of a hat. Like San Diego was a prime example of that when they had Matty and Jacob and stuff, and they just imploded after the expansion draft. Even further away, like before your time, the Rail had DB, me, Has, and Deity, and then the team just exploded in like one off season, and everyone ended up on different teams.
Except Orlando Villoria.
Yeah, and AV3, of
Yeah,
course.
basically everyone else was gone in a way, and then also kind of weirdly there was no promise of a bright future for that team. And I think that's sort of prevalent still today, but it's usually in conjunction with some sort of a GM change, or so it's not just
Yeah,
like everyone agrees to stop or leave or let this be the final season that we go for it. It's rather than more driven by a GM change or something.
I mean, yeah, that's
Larger
basically what
happening.
happens. That's basically what happened with the Wild, because and it's like I still believe like what we all did was pretty shitty on Judas because he did pretty well with what he had, and it just kind of felt like nobody there believed that Judas could, keep it together and like get it going. And so guys started leaving, and at the end it was just me and him. And I also did that because I just kind of felt like being a new GM, he had no way to like have that free agency pull and get something going. So I left.
yeah.
And I still feel bad about it, like.
I mean, at that point, it was kind of there was nothing left for Mercer in the Wild.
Yeah,
I
it's not
feel.
your responsibility to do someone else favors, like on your own behest. Like once it had run its course, I think maybe one season too many you had in Washington, like in retrospect. But still, like you shouldn't really have any harsh feelings about going to an actual real good team rather than.
I know. It's kind of, like, Judas is my friend. I still consider him a good friend. And I get really emotional about this stuff, alright? Just don't judge me.
Yeah, I also had a similar problem with Milwaukee, and like I was having like 7 different negotiations, and I never said anything to Robo. And then on the day, I just said, "Hey, Robo, actually, I'm not gonna be signing back this
Oh,
season."
man.
Even after he had traded for Kelly and McMahon, I think. No, maybe not McMahon, but at least Kelly, something like that. When he pulled off the big trade,
Was
let's
that the.
let's go
No,
take a
wait.
look what sort of what actually were the players. But yeah, the first season I left Milwaukee. There were, let's see, Milwaukee.
Or some hot takes from FFXX, who I don't know who that is on Twitch, but saying that Graves would have been the best complimentary player possible for Mercer. The Knights did not do enough to support Mercer. I mean, it's a hot take. I mean, Mercer was the top APE player.
I
Is
mean,
it?
yeah,
Is it?
I agree that Graves worked really well
But it's still
with Mercer
just one
because he
player.
was. Yeah, that
Is
was
it a
the problem.
fair?
There
Is it a
was
fair
no backcourt.
argument?
Like there was no backcourt. That was the problem. Like it was literally no player. Like I think we had IA, Casey Tam, or something like that, and that was it.
Yeah.
And like with SBA free agency being what it is. Recently, it's been better, but around that time, it was just people going to the Ravens. That was just like what was happening.
Yeah,
You had
every off
Colts.
season was.
Yeah. So like,
I don't
I
know
don't
who
know.
went this. I don't know who went to the Ravens the season before me, but I know it was me. I went, and then after that, Matty went, and then another guard, I think, or someone went to the Ravens.
Matthew?
I can't remember. It would have been 54.
Yes.
Wasn't it Mac? What was it later?
No, it was Mac. So it was me in 52, Matty in 53, and then they signed Mac in 54.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like the three years of getting like one of the top free agents.
Very famous example of.
I mean, and they just got Grant Thompson and S55. So pretty much every season has been one of the top free agents joining the Ravens. Which I mean, it's what you earn when you win so much. I guess.
Yeah, but at least the way it was posed to me when Sixers was pitching me in free agency, I told him that with some of the players on the team of the nights that you went to, when nice team you went to, I think I was higher on his priority list, and if I would have signed, then you wouldn't have been there on the team. But
I think he was pitching me actually with the thought of getting you as well.
also
At a
it
certain
would
point.
have been Puma.
I think
Then.
Sixers. I think Sixers was pitching everyone in that offseason. He was pitching
True, like
me as well.
I mean, he rebuilt like the fucking team from the ground up in like 2 hours, dude.
Yeah, I think when it came down, I was about 2 hours away from signing with Seattle because I was waiting for another GM to come back to me. And I told Sixers that like if I hadn't heard back from this person by this time, I'd sign with Seattle. And then the GM came back to me and all the plans changed. And then Sixers already signed people and told me that there wasn't space.
Yeah, but when I read
Because
it,
me and
yeah,
Because me and Tomato were talking in that off season. We were like, "Hey, we could reunite again."
Yeah,
And then just as free agency goes, it was a
and this kind of
chaos.
fell apart. Yeah, I was really digging that. I think that was the off season before DB stepped down as Prowler GM. I
Yeah,
remember he pitched like a really fun FA super team.
yeah. I think I
That was
remember that.
It was me and you and like a bunch of other guys, but I think I just didn't really believe that everyone would come because like I knew I could convince you to go because we were talking about Prowlers earlier during the off season as a fun spot, but yeah. And then I remember like he in his retirement speech he went on like, oh yeah, I can never get FAs and like it sucks, so I'm not gonna be a GM anymore. And I was just like, ouch.
Nepto says that yeah, Sixers hit his year 10 ass up like 3 times trying to talk to him, and then every time he woke up, Sixers said, "Never mind." Hey, I liked that. I did like the Prowlers team. They felt like one of the teams when DB and KG there. They really felt they actually had like an identity.
I remember when I was at Washington, we had like this big thing going with the Prowlers because they beat us every fucking time. Like we could never beat them. It was a curse. Even when they weren't really that good, they still kept on beating us. And I remember going ballistic when we finally started winning against them. It was great. But
That
yeah,
sounds
I
yeah.
hated KG with a passion, like Cairo Gaina, that player. Yeah.
I love the narratives that people get in the locker rooms on teams that are like up and coming. 'Cause back when I was the GM of the Jokers, we always had a rivalry with OKC. And when Zeke was the GM, and because OKC was the better team for a long time, And every year Zeke kept saying that this was the year he was going to sweep us. And every time he managed to eke out like 1 win or 2 wins. And the Jokers finally got good, and then we swept them. I messaged Zeke like, "Haha, got you finally," which is fun. But okay, we'll go on to the next real life question for Tomato. Then we're gonna go with so if someone was coming around your house for a first date, what meal would you cook them? What have you got for starter, main course, dessert? What would you go for?
Oh,
If you had to cook it yourself?
If I had to cook it myself.
Yeah. How's your cooking skills?
Well, they were sucky for a long time. But ever since I got together with my longtime girlfriend now, I started cooking more. So I think I'd do all right. I never really do starters, I guess. But for the
no one's
meal,
got time for that.
For the meal, I guess depending like on what the other person eats, stuff. I do eat chili con carne. I did it a bit ago. You can probably still find it in the cooking channel. Or I love something Judas recommended me actually, because he's a great cook. Salmon steak with angular pasta and baked asparagus with Parmesan cheese. It's great. It's amazing.
That's nice.
And for dessert, like I've never baked anything, so the only dessert I can do is Nutella and banana cookies on French cake. I guess I don't know what you call it actually. What do you call the
French cake?
No,
is it just French
toast
cake?
on toast.
Oh, is it like it's like small toast, pre-made toast? It's very like crunchy.
Yes, but it's like I don't get it pre-made. I get it's just like a thin slice of batter, I guess, and it's grossed in the oven and gets crunchy, and it makes for great cookies.
Crepes? Oh yeah,
like
crepes.
Banana split crepe.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I have no clue, honestly.
That sounds like a crepe. That sounds like a crepe.
Yeah. I think you'll find like if you actually want to make starters, you'll find that quite easy actually.
That's not it actually. Okay, I'll find it.
No one's got time to make starters at home.
Yeah, but you can still like do anything shitty. Like if you crush a garlic and put it between two white breads with butter and cheese and fry it until the cheese melts, then it's a starter.
Google's telling me it's puff pastry.
Oh yeah, so.
Oh right. Yeah, just some puff pastry.
Yeah, and you put Nutella on that and like a slice of banana, and it's great.
Yeah,
and it's really easy to make. It's like 10 minutes and it's ready. So. Good stuff.
What'd you go for, Oko? What's your first date meal that you'd cook for someone?
I guess prawn salad. Then lasagna. Lasagna is pretty good. Everyone usually likes lasagna, and then you can make lasagna with spinach or broad beans or chicken, depending on whatever if the other person is a vegetarian or has a different sort of diet anyway. And then I guess cheesecake is quite nice, but usually don't like dicking around with all the utensils to actually like prepare the like the cheese mass. So maybe something more fresh, like a yogurt type of thing with berries and flakes and nuts, and maybe, like you said, a little bit of Nutella paste or different sort of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be quite simple, I think.
That sounds pretty good.
And I usually don't like prawn salad, but lemon and mayonnaise, it's actually in small portions. I like it as a starter.
Yeah. Do we have a specified Joker question, or should we get one from our audience? Since we've got a few viewers actively in the channel, we could go for a viewer question to finish off 5 of the week.
Well, what I originally thought of doing was that just asking you two of what did you think of the previous week of SBA stuff, and then we can see if there's a few questions that are fun in the chat. So in general, how did you take in this past week of SBA or SBDL if you're more invested in it? So we still have this Sunday's sim of the second week of season 57 to go later today, but just in general, this past week, what have been your thoughts?
You start.
Well, as far as the wild goes, we had a pretty decent week of sims. I'm just looking at the index now. We managed to beat the Iron Man.
Hey.
Beat the Nightmare. We beat the Chiefs. So this is pretty. I mean, the Nightmare. They're pretty bad. We beat the Iron Man. So it's a pretty good. It's a pretty good week for the wild. I mean, we've lost the past like 4 in a row, but let's not talk about that.
No one has to see that.
Yeah, the Iron Man, we've had a bit of a problem actually beating the teams that are worse than us now after the season began with us taking care of business against the bad teams and then mightily struggling against anyone who was good. Now it's sort of turned upside down, which is weird.
Yeah.
But hopefully will even out itself soon.
The scoring hasn't been too great. So at the moment, I'm mostly cheering on Grant Thompson for Offensive Player of the Year. He's doing pretty well. 38.5 points per game for the Ravens.
Let's be honest, you're just cheering against Cooper.
Yeah, as long as Cooper doesn't get another Offensive Player of the Year award, then I'm happy. I mean, Coco Creek's overtaking him now for the rush. I haven't really looked too much for the Rushers team. Oh,
they're
Creek's
terrible.
Creek's just stat padding on that team.
They've got all the
I would have thought that
players and inactive players.
What's happened to Landstriker? He's
just old.
Is he old?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, regression. I was going to say.
Yeah. He's my year, but
I felt like Landstriker kind of fell under the radar his like entire career.
No, he won a championship though.
Did he?
Yeah.
Who with? The Rail?
Rail, yes.
Oh, he was part of that team. Okay. I don't know. I just feel like his name never really came up in like award discussions or much. But yeah, I guess the All-Star got a few All-Star selections.
Yeah, well, I guess even if you forgot that he won a championship on the Rail 2 seasons ago, which would be like in mid-July or something, then I suppose that means he fell under the radar quite a bit, really.
In terms of like competing for position awards, I mean, kind of because he came out of the SPDL like quite hot. Like
I think he was.
I think he got the point record at that point, didn't he?
I think he was the first pick in that draft. He was ahead of me. Like I went second.
Was he first pick? Oh, right.
I think he was. Yeah, because I remember when I first got drafted to the Wild, and I get added to the Discord, and I could see a conversation from like a few days before saying that they're hoping they get Landstriker, and then they lost the lottery, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess we go with this tomato guy.
Yeah, I think what separated Landstriker from the other players in any sort of award or advanced metrics conversation was that for the longest time the build had no handling, no rebounding, and no defense sort of stuff. And I think even in his peak it was like 80 post defense and then close to 90 steals and blocks. So it was just all in on the efficiency, which I guess was good throughout his career, but still not like monumentally high, aside from the final prime year in New York. Never was in touching distance of 700 through shooting, for example.
Yeah. We actually have a question from KDD, I think, which is, I was shocked that only one player was
It's not
inducted in the
KDD.
S. It's not KDD?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Can't get this. Only one player was inducted in the S54 Hall of Fame, despite so many strong candidates. I would like to hear your thoughts on the S54 class and predictions on who gets in the S55 class.
Well, I know, so I'm not gonna answer it, but you guys can, because I'm
I don't
writing.
know who's eligible. How do I?
There was just recently, like last week, the article on the SPN network looking forward to the
Oh, yeah. Neptos, I think.
Let me.
Hall of Fame
I'll bring
preview.
that
I'm
up
gonna
now.
put it in the chat as well.
I've got it here. Class of S55. So who have we got? Jacoby Battle, Jordan Kabar Kappa, Cameron Millwall, Ephidos Parahexis, the Parahexis brothers, Funky Congo, Prezi, Hero, Zav Willy, Trays Only, Apollo Hero. The
I mean,
new
I'll be
ones.
honest. I'm not that shocked that only Othello got in, because
Looking at these things, Tyler Swift, I don't think that's a Hall of Fame resume. One-time All-Star, one-time rebound leader. So I don't think Tyler Swift's getting in. Ben Schneider is not getting in either. His career stats are pretty poor. Rashid Ryder should get in. 5-time SBA champion, 2-time small forward of the year. Yeah, I think Ryder's going to be first ballot.
like Ryder has to be a lock.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
runner up in most valuable player once, I think.
Oh right,
But that's
it
not
doesn't come
public.
on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's almost definitely he's a lock.
Like I don't
Raymond
see.
Jimenez,
Yeah,
good player. Hall of very good for Jimenez. In fact, I don't know if he gets into the Hall of very good. To be honest, the Hall of
quite hard.
he's the Hall of decent. You know,
the Hall of Merchants. You know.
I mean, they're kind of his averages are a bit worse because he played for ages. I think he went like 11 seasons or something.
FFXX says that he thought Zonley would make it with Hawkins, and
Yeah.
I can see that, but also I feel like just I'm not. I don't really know how Hall of Fame voting works, but like I think just Hawkins was just way better than anyone else.
I mean, yeah, Hawkins probably goes down as one of the best players all time. Really,
Yeah.
At least
So
like top 20 players in SBA history, at least 2 times MVP.
Yeah. So I can see just everyone voting for him and just being, that's the best choice.
Yeah, Apollo Hero is a good choice.
Hero? That's a good one.
He's one of those players that had like he was very good for a long time and then had this one season where he just kind of exploded.
Yeah.
And won everything. Did he get his Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah.
The same time as his MVP?
I think he did.
I think he did. Like he just had this one season where he was massively like doing great.
In the season he was MVP? Because
was it in the...
No, I think that was slotted somewhere in between those McMahon seasons, but I'm just gonna go take a look to be sure. Hero awards. Yeah, that was 49, and the MVP season was 51. So yeah, it was in between those McMahon seasons.
I think Hero might not have the resume for a first ballot. I don't know. It depends who else. Because at this moment, like Ryder's the only lock. Who's he against in the second ballot? Zav Willy?
Same guys.
No, I don't see Zav Willy going.
I don't think Zav Willy's gonna get in. Like the MVP was good.
Hell no.
But I don't think
he didn't win it.
No, you're looking at the wrong thing.
Oh,
yeah, he got MIP and Offensive Player of the Year and the turnovers record. Like, no, come on, that's not a Hall of Fame career.
I think Zonley gets in.
Yeah, Zonley will get in eventually.
all-time. Why have we even got the all-league first team? Why is that? It's a bit redundant when you're the shooting guard of the year.
No, if you are a freak, or even if you win it in two separate positions, then it's. Oh well, yeah. Actually, that's marked down there.
Yeah,
What
because
about-
we. Yeah, that doesn't. That's kind of pointless. But anyway,
Yeah.
playoff MVP, three-time champion, real like cornerstone of that Brooklyn team
And Atlanta
in
after
the
that.
in the reign of terror. Yeah. So I think Zonely gets in. Hero doesn't get in, I don't think. Hall are very good.
I think all the MVPs, except one, have been named to the Hall of Fame eventually. So
Now,
it'd be pretty
Prezi,
difficult to say Hero doesn't get in.
So do you see Prezi go?
Hero didn't get an MVP.
No, he did.
Dangerous talking about Hiro Renomitsu.
Oh
Hero
yeah,
Renomitsu.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Hero, not Hero.
Different heroes.
Yeah, Renomitsu, I don't think gets in. Good player, good user. Not good enough for Hall of Fame. Now, Prezi. Prezi is a tough one. I think Prezi is going to be very borderline. Like,
Yeah.
he did win that MVP, but it was, again, just like 1 year.
And he was passed on already in a year where they only voted one person in, which really points towards maybe now that there are more noteworthy players filling up the ballot after Prezi's moved to second and eventually maybe third. I don't actually know if he's
I feel like he might miss out on the Hall of Fame.
And he's both like Prezi and Congo are really tough. Like, it feels like they should be getting in, but when you compare them to other players on the ballot, they don't
just not as good.
They're just like a little bit below.
Mm-hmm.
Like both Funky Congo and Prezi, when you compare them to like Zonely and Hero, they just don't quite stack up in my mind, which is tough.
Yeah, I agree.
But like,
I agree. It's tough, but
it kind of depends on how much weight you put on that rail ring by Congo, because that is like a hell of an accomplishment that's probably worth a bit more than like.
No, same as any
No,
ring.
Same as any ring. I don't know. I'm not sure about that argument.
It's as worthy as your ring. Well, actually, he has the playoff MVP. But just to chime in here, I think when the previous ballot was announced, the conversation was around Congo and Zonely and Hawkins being the likely ones, and then with some Prezi had an MVP talk sprinkled in there. So I think it's still headed somewhat in that direction in for the guys who are still on the ballot. But seeing as they were passed on for one season already, it's sort of weird how that compared to now Hero and Ryder entering the.
And now the Parahexis Bros, very good. I mean, retire their jerseys for Montreal, but as far as Hall of Fame goes, I don't think there's no chance. No chance they're getting in there.
I think it looks nice that Efodos has an 8-time All-Star. Though,
because
a lot of scoring always the game loves.
Yeah,
I don't see any of the Fred ballot guys going in.
Yeah, no.
Millwall, good player. Kabar Kappa, good player.
Chabar Kappa.
But Kabar Kappa, well. But yeah, I don't think the rest of them are getting in. So I think it really is like a front two that are a clear little step ahead is Rashid Ryder and Hero, Apollo Hero, and then that like actually no, it really is between how much you value Zonely.
I guess I believe there's going to be some discussion between that one monster season from Hero and like just like a
the
solid career.
longevity of Zonely. Yeah.
I think
And
they
I
both
guess-
have.
Yeah, they both have very strong candidates. It's like the way up of like Hero has the MVP, but Zonely has the 3 champions, the 3 rings and a playoff MVP. Zonely has the 2 like positional awards, but Hero also has like defensive player as well.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
I think it's going to be interesting to see who goes out.
It's especially depending, like, do you value that Hero as a defensive player? He was basically second best in the league for years and only lost out because of a defensive specialist. Like, if McMahon wasn't playing from the same draft class, then Hero could have had 2 or 3 defensive player of the years.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. It's getting kind of late, so I think I'll have to bounce.
Yeah. So Tomato, if you pick the 2 players to get in this year, who would you go for?
Ryder, 100%. And as much as I like Jeff, I think Hero goes in. Like being there to like see his career and like always, yeah, he was missing out on those defensive players for 3 years, but he was an amazing defender. He was like a really forward with the passing big man archetype, and he just had such a fucking monster season. Like I remember that year he won MVP. It was like first week of Sims, and everyone was like, "Yeah, that's MVP."
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt about it, and I think that's just a Hall of Fame player.
All right.
All right.
That means
Thanks for having me,
thanks
guys.
to you, thanks to Danger, and thanks for anyone watching. Sorry that we couldn't hang around for more viewer questions, but I bet we're gonna do this in the future again. So yeah, stay tuned and come back again next time.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks.